All right. Y'all ready?
One other thing. Do y'all hear? I've dropped the link to the cast of the show because I'm like, there's so many fucking names.
Oh, yes, please.
Just so if you want to keep this up. Okay. I didn't even realize Luke Evans' character Lars. I don't even remember them saying that in the show. Anyway.
No. I feel like that's one of the few names I remember. Lars and Carmel.
Really? I'm like, I did not.
Actually,
his name was Yao. Is that how you say it? Yao?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know that either. Okay.
All right. Well, we'll start with the check-in. So I'll just let me know what y'all been up to. Yes. Like, it's been 2 weeks. Fill me in, like all that kind of stuff too. Mm-hmm. You said hold on, yeah?
Yeah, I'm putting up the cast right now so I can better reference them. All right, bet.
Let's get this mic out the screen. All right, ready? All right, guys, welcome back to episode 2. Before we get started, Aunt Maya, how are you guys doing? I know it's been a couple weeks since we recorded last. What have you guys been up to?
Too much.
Want to elaborate on that?
A lot of work, a lot of projects I'm trying to get finished. So yeah, I need sleep. But I've been getting these TV shows in, multitasking.
Right. I saw Aunt earlier, and I remember I was still not done with 9 Perfect Strangers. But for me, I'm definitely on a high off of that show. Spoiler alert, I liked it, but
I'm gonna say, what do you mean by that?
I'm very excited. Yeah. I really enjoyed the show. So I'm really I'm still in a really happy mood from that. So
yeah. No, I feel both of you. I definitely can relate to needing sleep. I don't know if I mentioned this on the show before, but being in school is a lot. I have to do a lot of group projects, and I'm not really used to that anymore. Homework and studying and all of that.
This isn't a group project?
Not one that's being graded. It's not one that's being graded. So just that, and then I too saved 9 Perfect Strangers until a couple of hours ago. So but it's finished and I have a lot of thoughts, so I'm excited for this episode. I think it would be a lot of fun. Before we hop into our main portion of the review, there's a lot of stuff going on in the news as far as streaming and trailers and movie releases. I guess one thing that I can start with is that there's 2 shows that are Netflix favorites that people really enjoyed that are coming back. They were just announced this past week or so that they're going to be coming back to Netflix. And the first is our beloved Tiger King. So Tiger King is coming back to Netflix. Did you all watch the Tiger King documentary?
Yes.
I mean, everybody did. That was like the number one thing once the pandemic hit.
Exactly. That was like the milestone of the beginning of the pandemic.
Yes, I was going to say.
I saw it on the home screen and I was like, all right. I literally had nothing better to do. I mean,
no, literally, I think that was right before the pandemic started. I binged it all, and I don't know where they're gonna go with this second installment. Am I wrong in saying that? I thought he was locked up or something.
I think I saw something where they let him out or something like that.
Yeah, they let him out. And they did another episode. I never went back and watched it. Didn't they go back and add another one to it?
Oh, I think I do remember seeing that because it showed back up in my continue watching, and I think I just kind of ignored it. But then I clicked on it one day and I was like, oh, it's actually a whole new episode. But I'm a big fan of what's his name? Joe. Carol Baskin needs to go to jail. I will die on that hill.
Right. And I feel like they're gonna lean into it more because Carol Baskin, she's on a Cameo now. Hey, cool cats and kittens or whatever. Like she's definitely leaning into that persona more. So I feel like that first documentary was a little bit more raw, unexpected. I remember she was trying to sue people for that documentary. I feel like now it's going to be like a whole different like tone. And I feel like that was like, even though it was super goofy, like how they construct the storytelling of that and all the footage they were able to capture, I feel like that was amazing documentary work. So I'm excited.
So good. It was really good. I definitely enjoyed it. I'm excited to see what they do for the second installment of it, too. And then one other show that's coming back to Netflix. I don't know if you all watch this. I'm kind of like ashamed to say that I watch it, but Big Mouth is coming back for season. I think it's season 4 or 5. Do you all watch Big Mouth?
Remember when we were living together, Brie, you got me to start watching. So I think
so
I watched the first 2 seasons. I haven't watched season 3 yet, but I love Big Mouth.
It's so funny.
I don't really care for it.
Why
All right, man. What else is on?
Yeah, it's really, I don't know. It's kind of like a strange concept. I like how they do it, and I think it's funny. It's like something lighthearted to just kind of be watching in the background of things, but they're coming back for a new season. And these kids, I don't know how they're not grown up yet, but you know, we'll see where they continue to go with that series too. But they've been in like 9th grade for 5 seasons now, so
you're right.
Oh well.
They still gotta take OTTs and stuff.
So Maya, I know that you had shared some information a little bit earlier about the Super Mario Brother casting. You want to talk a little bit more about that one?
Yeah, so they announced like the Super Mario Brothers movie, which sounds exciting, but you know, sometimes I'm like, just for the past few months, I'm like, wow, they're really making a movie, but obviously people are going to go see it. It's probably going to do decent. But I know a lot of people are reacting to Chris Pratt playing Mario or doing the voice acting for Mario. And I'm like, what? Keep in mind, I love Parks and Rec. I like Chris Pratt, loved him in Guardians, but I just feel like I just hear his voice and him trying to like impersonate like this Italian accent, and I just cringe. I feel like they could have found somebody better. What do y'all think?
It's a me.
Maybe they want something that's a little bit more goofy, like someone, but I just felt like it could have been. I feel like Jack Black, like it's perfect. And then like Seth Rogen being Donkey Kong, that makes sense to me, but Chris Pratt, nah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think a lot of this casting was done really well based off of looks, like based off of like physical looks. Not saying that like Jack Black looks like Bowser or anything like that, because I just truly think that he's a really good fit. But like what's her name? Anya Taylor-Joy for Princess Peach, dead look alike. And even like Keegan-Michael Key for Toad. I think that's a good casting, and like just off of looks alone, it'll just be interesting to see how each of them kind of leans into each of these characters, because that's where you know, it's really going to make the most difference.
Right. And so I'm like, I'll definitely go watch it. And granted, it's just voice. It's not like it's like a live action or anything, but I just felt like Chris Pratt was just like, oh gosh, they're just finding someone that's goofy and again, like looks too. So
yeah. For sure. And for Netflix is doing a lot. They announced a lot within this past week, probably because it's the end of the month and things. But a couple of other things that Netflix has been working on is they've released a new trailer for Stranger Things. I'm not sure if either of you kind of have kept up on that series at all.
I only watched the first season and I really, really liked it. I didn't get back into it, but I'm planning on catching up so I can watch the newest season.
I didn't watch the last season.
Okay.
So I need to go back.
Oh, sweet. It was so good. No, I'm definitely going to watch this new season. It's I'm not going to spoil it because you guys haven't seen it, but the promotion for this new season has really irritated me because they left the last season off on a crazy cliffhanger, but then the trailers for the new season spoiled the cliffhanger. And I hate when that happens. It's my biggest pet peeve for seasons that are coming back or series that are bringing back new seasons, because if you're gonna leave something off on a cliffhanger, then why promote it in the trailer? Like, what am I gonna watch it for? Because you already told me what was going to happen, and you already told me that, you know, the good or bad thing isn't how it looked. So that was really irritating, and it was like pretty early in the promotion too. So it's just kind of like we've been knowing this information for a little while now. I feel like if you are a Stranger Things fan, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But it's just one of those things that there's been a couple of movies that have really spoiled key plot points in the trailers, and I really don't like that. But the last thing that we have from Netflix is there was a snippet released, or kind of like a preview of the Kanye documentary. Do you
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Greatest artist of our generation.
Do any of you plan to watch that? I
Absolutely.
It does.
Absolutely. Shout out to Donda.
I definitely plan on watching just because I want to get more into this guy's head. I mean, I like Kanye as an artist, but let me just say I'm curious to learn more, because I feel like he's all over the place. So any way that I can connect the dots with him and try to understand him better is what I'm looking forward to.
He's a Gemini, so that's not gonna happen.
Oh my gosh, this makes so much sense. He was a Gemini.
You just gotta go with it.
I'm weak. No, I'm definitely gonna watch. The snippet itself wasn't really, you know, very telling of what they're gonna cover. I'm sure it's just gonna be kind of a documentary on his life and things, but I think it's kind of undeniable that Kanye is a huge influence, especially for our generation and things. So I'm excited to watch that one too. And then a couple other things in the news. There were a couple of things, Ant, that you had mentioned about Will Smith and The Harder They Fall. You want to talk about some of those?
I was going to insert, since we're talking about Netflix, new Money Heist trailer part 2 dropped.
I started that. So hopefully by the time it dropped.
How far are you, Maya?
Episode 4 of the first season, so it's not even worth talking about.
Honestly, if I were to ever pick that show back up, I would have to start over. I don't remember what happened.
They got Netflix is really good with the recaps.
Yeah, they are.
At the beginning of the first episode.
Maybe I have to try that and stuff.
Yeah, you got until I think it's like mid-December. Is when the season 2 or part 2 last season drops.
Okay.
Yeah, like what? Why would you drop part 1 and then let me wait, 3 months? I had it when Power did that too with the last season. They dropped like episodes. Just give me the full season. What are you doing that for? You being weird.
Yeah, sometimes.
Why are you being weird to me?
All American did that too, but I think it was like a COVID thing. But I guess Power had no excuse. I always curious, like, are you trying to get closer and closer to the time period? Because Flash did that too. Like, what are you waiting on? But I don't know.
No,
so many episodes.
Lupin did that too.
Mm-hmm.
That Lupin series on Netflix, they did that too.
Yeah.
I hate when they do that because they be leaving you off on a really big cliffhanger. So
yeah, I can't look forward to that because it was hectic. Last episode they dropped episode 5. I was like, whoo. I'm in here sweating. So yeah, Disney Plus has Nat Geo has a Will Smith. I think it's like a 6-part series coming, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm hoping it's funny. I hope it's not just like a documentary. I hope it's like he's going and I hope it's like a funny type of series.
I feel like Will Smith did such a great job, like just from his social media alone, like branding himself as someone who just willing to explore, try new experiences, like how he document like skydiving and all these fun things that he's doing. So I feel like he's like the perfect person for that type of series, like exploring the world and trying things through his, I guess, lens. So I'm excited for that.
Let me see. And then, do you want to talk about The Harder They Fall? That casting. That I think that dropped 3 days ago.
Okay.
It dropped 3 days ago.
It was, this must be a second trailer because I remember there was like a teaser because I've definitely seen this before, like a few weeks ago.
Okay, because this is the first time I'm hearing of Harder They Fall, like a couple minutes before the episode started. So we're people like me who didn't see the first trailer, give like a 30-second blurb on what this movie is about.
Oh. Well, I can't. It's actually, it looks like it's like cowboy era, Idris Elba, Regina King, Zazie Beetz, and I guess it's just kind of like highlighting influence of like Black people of the time. Not exactly sure, can't pinpoint an exact time period, but it looks like it's more in like this cowboy Western era type thing. So it looks really cool. Like, it looks like a cool concept. Anyone knows me, I love Regina King. She's my favorite actress of all time. But I think the biggest head scratch, I guess, is the casting of Zazie Beetz as Stagecoach Mary.
Yeah, I don't know why I did that. I didn't hear about it until that's why they posted it the movie 3 days ago, and then they were posting like the characters, and that's when I saw they were just getting cooked on Twitter
and the comments
for the Zazie Beetz. Yeah, they was.
Yeah, because the tweet that I saw, that it was like they showed Zazie Beetz and from the trailer, and then they showed which Stagecoach Mary actually looks like, and I'm like, it feels very Zoe Saldana casted for Nina Simone type.
Yeah, Netflix is good for that. Even with that, I forgot the name of that one show that was about the kid with the superpowers.
Oh yeah.
It was a little black boy, with the superpowers, and they completely like swapped the mom, like the dark skinned mom out for a light skinned mom, and thought that nobody would notice type of thing. Netflix is good for stuff like that, so unfortunate, but.
And thankfully Zazzie's a decent actress, but like I just feel like it's definitely a trend. Zendaya, no one can talk about her acting because I feel like she does great, but the whole like Amanda Steenberg, Laura Harriers, Yara, like it's all these like, mixed women really taking a lot of space for like just women that are supposed to be just portrayed as Black. Not saying I'm questioning their Blackness or anything, but it does feel like the industry favors more fair-skinned women in these type of roles, which I feel like when you just know the other potential out there, it's like, why is this happening? Because freaking Laura Harrier in Black Klansman, cringe. She was so horrible in that movie. It wasn't even natural for her. Like, you could have got someone who was more fire and also just felt like they fit the part a little bit more. But yeah, I guess I'll jump off my soapbox there, but that was a disappointing casting for me, for sure.
Agreed. Not a fan. Well, I think that wraps up everything that we had for news and everything, streaming, trailers, TV and movie releases. So as a little bit of a heads up for this episode, we are going to be reviewing 9 Perfect Strangers. This series can be found on Hulu if you haven't watched it yet. So spoiler alert, we will be talking about the different characters and different plot points within the episodes from this point forward. Check the episode description if you want to, jump back into the episode at, once we're actually done talking about this series. But as always, that information is in the description. So before we get into kind of our thoughts on the series, Ant or Maya, do one of you want to just give like a 30-second, 1-minute blurb about what this series was about? It's kind of hard.
9 Perfect Strangers. So pretty much you have 9 strangers from like different backgrounds, and they go to this retreat for 10 days. And then you have this lady, and she's like just weird. Actually, was there other staff? I don't actually not thinking about it. Was it just like them 3?
Yeah, there's randomly 4. The bubbles that I'm like, are you like a staff member? Where'd you?
I think it was 4.
Yeah, because the one girl, at the end of the series when they thought they were burning her. So
yeah,
so it's like 4 of them.
Still running a whole retreat. That's crazy. But yeah, they go to this retreat. It's a slow burner, and there's like a lot of kind of like suspense because like especially like the first probably like 6 episodes, they just kind of like you feel like something's happening, but like it's just like a lot of interaction. But yeah, that's a nice little summary of it. Not for training, they go to resort to figure out their issues.
Okay, so how did y'all feel about the series? Did you like it? Did you have passed on it? Let me hear your thoughts.
I ended up liking it.
Yeah, I absolutely loved it. I think it was so unique because, like you said, and there was like a slow burn, and you kind of like felt like something was building up, and kind of like this feeling of dread. And then kind of like how everything, we'll obviously talk about it later, but like how everything concluded, it was so refreshing and you weren't really expecting it. So like for me, I love murder mysteries. I think I talked about that in that first episode. So it's like kind of expecting some sort of murder mystery, but kind of getting like this refreshing, different take. It was satisfying for me. And I think the acting was absolutely superb. Everyone's acting was so on point. And Brie, I know you love Knives Out. I think you said it's like your favorite movie, one of them.
Yes.
Napoleon. Oh my God, he bodied that role.
So good.
So good. So yeah, I loved it. How about you, Bria?
No, I really loved this show too. I'm not gonna lie, I loved the beginning, and then in the middle, I was just kind of like, where are we going? I really love shows where there's multiple different characters and they all have a backstory, and it kind of like dives into each, and you're trying to figure out where is everyone's background and why are they here type of thing. So I really liked it from that perspective. The middle, I was just a little confused because there were some things that, if I were in that situation, I would have done a little bit differently, and we can talk about that a little bit later as well. But I overall really enjoyed the show. I think that the characters were really good, and they all came from really different places, and you really got to see each of them and the, different activities that they did, or, I don't want to call them challenges because that's not what they were, but the like counseling sessions and things, you got to really dive into each of the characters, learn a little bit more about them, and then see how all of that reflects onto the larger group. So I really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Shout out to my girl, Regina Hall. I love her. she killed that role.
She did.
She played crazy little too well. I can't believe she's 50.
I might be into that.
I'm like, what the heck? Is she 50? I hope to look good at like her one day. But
right.
She is 50. I'm like, I think somebody posted her birthday and I was like, never she 50. Black does not crack.
Right. Yeah.
So, was there a character that y'all connected with? You good for you?
Yeah. Okay. Was that a character that I connected with? Come back to me. Let me think of all. Let's go through all the characters. So I think that might help.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we got Masha. We got the head honcho.
Okay, man, she is just like, I loved her, and oh my God.
Pretty Little Lies,
yeah,
or
Pretty Little. Wait, no, not Pretty Little.
No, I know what you're talking about. Big Little Lies.
Big Little Lies. Oh my God.
Yeah, on HBO.
Yeah, and so I feel like she plays like the whole like rich white woman who's kind of different, like really well. But I think, oh my God, I loved her character, and I think she's supposed to be like Russian, and I think she played it really well.
All right, then we have Jessica, who is the black dude's girlfriend or wife.
Wife. I liked her a lot. I felt like her and Ben, like her husband, did not get enough screen time.
Yeah.
I felt like they were kind of like the afterthought. Like they did all this great like characterization with everyone else, and I just felt like they didn't get enough screen time. But I really liked her character. definitely felt a little cliche. Oh, like the pretty girl who just obsessed about her looks. But I felt like they did it in a way that it was a little bit different. Yeah. What do you think, Bria, about her?
I really liked them as a couple, but I also felt that they did get enough screen time, especially because they overall were the most relatable to our age group. Like as far as, you know, being obsessed with social media and having like wanting to fancy cars and all of that kind of stuff. I feel like that particular couple was most relatable to our age group, and I would have kind of loved to see a little bit more of that. And at first, I don't know, you know, of course, when the cast is mostly white and you see a couple Black characters, you're like, oh, I'm gonna root for you throughout. So it was really cool to just kind of see the substance around him as a character and, you know, learn a little bit more about them too.
Yeah, and he was fine. Ben was fine. I'm not even like really into like he looks like just a typical pretty boy, like, but he was fine. Like the way he spoke, like his mannerisms. I'm like, oh, I can't stop looking at him. But
and he had money. He won the lottery. 22 million.
All right, here y'all go.
Exactly. Say less.
Here y'all go, yeah.
But I think like that was interesting too, because it was kind of refreshing to me because like I'm like, oh gosh, what is his story about to be? Like lost a family member, like, you know, the stereotypical vices they give Black men. So it's like, oh, his whole thing was just about purpose and not feeling like he had purpose, he had money, but like what else? So I really like that part of the character because I feel like we never really, I don't know, you know, Black men are always plagued with a bunch of struggle and series. So I like that they took that perspective for him.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. So you took my answer. That's what I was gonna say. I like, and then even at the end when they talked about how he just wanted everybody to work, and stuff. I really like that. I like that scene with Jessica as well in the bathroom, and they had her nose fall off.
Oh yeah.
It's on your face. That was so.
All right. Next up, we got Frances, who was the author.
She's the one that I'm most aligned with. I love Melissa McCarthy. I think she was so great. Like, and I think obviously she's one of the characters they went a little bit deeper into her life. And I think why I relate to her so much, because like she's an author of like romance books, which I read a ton of. And so like her whole life is about like this fantasy that she's like thinking of in her head, because like her reality was something that she constantly wanted to change and she wasn't very present. And her whole like her worth was tied to these like fantasy romance books. And so like when they ended it where she's actually writing about like what's in front of her, I'm like, oh, that is so great. So yeah, I definitely connected with her character.
Yeah, there's not many shows or films that I don't like Melissa McCarthy in, if I'm being completely honest. At the beginning of this, or what, the series, I was just kind of like, I wonder what they have her playing, because it was when she didn't get her book and she was being, you know, super rude to, what's his name? Tony. That tried to kind of help her and all of that. So it's like, oh, I hope this isn't the one where, you know, she kind of breaks her streak with me. But I really liked how they dug into her story a little bit more. And, you know, the whole catfish story, the scene where she was like knocked out with her face in the food. Like it seemed so real. So I was like, oh, like he actually really did care about her. But, you know, of course it was the drugs and all of that. That was a cool little twist, because I really thought it was gonna like go somewhere and she'd be like, all right, have fun at this retreat. Right. And peace out. But we got to kind of get some background on her too.
Right. That was crazy. I think they said $126,000 she sent him. Like it shows how much of a fantasy world she was living in.
Yeah. Like
you just put the story in your head and clearly you were just getting scammed. That was crazy. But yeah, I totally agree there.
Right, next.
Sorry.
Oh. Go ahead.
It just made me think about how a lot of like people on Facebook, like the Nigerian, I'm not gonna say it, like a lot of people on Facebook, it would be like people be like, oh, I'm a Nigerian prince or something. And you're getting sent so much money, and I don't know. It's sad because they do target like older people and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's always lonely, like older women. So
yeah,
fit the bill, but like, yeah, that's crazy.
All right. Next we have Tony, who was the former football player.
I mean, literally all these characters I love. They did such a good job, like with his flashbacks, and like I would try to piece together like what his deal was, and then you kind of understand like, oh, he's this person with like this fame, but like again, like it's another thing, kind of like Ben, like trying to find purpose. Okay, his quote unquote prime has passed, all these injuries, he had all these insecurities, which affected like his relationships with his daughters, his, I guess, ex-wife. And it's just like, it's kind of just interesting because I guess he could have been looked at as the person who had it all. Like, why are you even here? So I think they did a good job like portraying that, and like not really thinking like, oh, why is he here? Like, what's his story? That you really kind of felt his pain during those flashbacks, which I think was really good with his characterization.
and you also got to see him develop a little bit more as well, because he started off, really caring, stopping for Frances when she was kind of having her nervous breakdowns out of the car and stuff like that. But he was also very closed off too. And then at the end of the series, you kind of saw that it was a little bit of a 180 because, he was still really caring, but he was just much more open and willing to put himself out there too. So I really liked how they had his character develop throughout the show too.
Right, especially like his drug abuse. And it was funny because like when he like walked away from, granted he was being drugged in another way, but like it was like when he kind of like let go of some of those addictive behaviors, like kind of like where did life take him then? Which is cool. How'd you like his character, Ant?
He was one of the characters I cared about least. I'll be
Really?
honest. Him and Francis, I was just like, all right, they just want to, they better find love. I don't care about them. Because my main, I like, well, the people I'm gonna bring up next, and then also Melvin with people, and then Carmel were my favorites. So I like those parts of the story the most. Um, the love story part, I was like, all right. So that being said, going to the next part, which I feel like was like the main chunk of the story, we're gonna do all three of them together. The family, so that's Heather, Napoleon, and Zoe, the daughter. And so they were the ones that were struggling because they lost for the parents their son and their sister. So we got to think about them.
I'll just say that I completely predicted their storyline. Like as far as the son/brother, committing suicide, just because the way that they were kind of talking about him, they were kind of tiptoeing around.
Yeah, like
they just said like he stopped living and stuff like that.
Weird way to say
yeah, I've never really heard anyone refer to it like that. So I kind of predicted that's where that storyline was going. It was so interesting to kind of see how each of them throughout the entire series took on some of that blame in some way. Like whether it was the sister, like, oh, we didn't really mess with each other like that. We weren't that close. Or the mom, not reading the pillbox. Or the dad, if I had just gotten up, like when my alarm clock had went off the first time, this wouldn't have happened. So it was really cool to be able to see them to kind of go through this journey together and start to heal, if anything, for the good of the daughter. Because if anything, she needed it the most. So
right.
I mean, even at a point, like they had the mom and dad were like, especially like after they had that, both saw him and they brought up she didn't read the box or the inhaler. He was just kind of like, yeah, I don't know if I can like forgive her for that. Like he really wanted to blame her, but then towards the end, like they had that final kind of meeting with him. He was just like, yeah, it's nobody's fault. Get over it. Time to move on. I like that they said the alarm is the timer for them to stop like mourning his death. I like that, how they said put that line in there.
Cool.
Yeah.
It was so crazy to think, because I'm feeling like after we found out like Masha's background and how she was just basically trying to conjure up her daughter. We'll get to that too, because that last scene was kind of fried, but
it was.
So you're on drugs driving a Lamborghini and your daughter's like, okay, anyway. But like seeing, oh crap, now I forgot my thought. But I was like, I'm thinking like, oh gosh, they're about to die, like the whole family, because it's like she's trying to experiment with them and the drugs, and just seeing that beautiful moment happen. I wasn't expecting it. So when it happened, it was so beautiful. And it's just like, I know this is obviously pseudoscience, and granted, I never tried any psychedelics myself, and even if I did, I wouldn't admit it on this podcast. But like the fact that all three of them can see him in the same state, like that is crazy. I'm like,
yeah.
How are you all on like psychedelics and you see and hear the same person? Like, oh, that like it was kind of a mind fuck, but that was a really cool scene.
I wonder if that's something, and this is not really off topic, but I wonder if that would happen in real life. Like if it was three people with like a common experience, is that normal? I too have never taken any psychedelics, and I also would not admit it if so, but I don't know, like is that normal, or is that just kind of a stretch for the show? I'd be interested to learn more about
I've heard of it. I think I've heard of it before.
That feels like magic. Like how are y'all's brains on the same wavelength, like seeing this? Yeah, but maybe it is. Shoot, I'm not even gonna lie. This series made me very curious. Even though it's very dramatized. But I wouldn't, anyway.
All right, so next we're gonna do these two together as well. We have pretty much the staff. So we have Yao and Delilah.
Yao, I just want to say, I don't know if any of you have watched The Good Place.
I started it.
So actually, let me ask first. I can edit this part out. Is that the same guy?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, I was gonna say. So yeah, just kind of watching him transform from The Good Place, and I'm sure he's played in other things, but not really that I've seen him in. Watching his character in The Good Place be this like super ditzy, doesn't know anything, like dummy that's in The Good Place, and then transformed into this character where he was just kind of like really knowledgeable about how everything was supposed to work, the science behind stuff. I thought that was really cool. Just to kind of see him as an actor be so multi-dimensional almost, and it sounds really dramatic, but if you've seen The Good Place, he's an absolute idiot in that show, so it's complete different sides of the spectrum. So that was very cool for me to see too.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, that jawline, I couldn't stop staring at it. But yeah, I think their dynamic between Yao and Delilah is interesting. I like both of their characters. I'm like, that one scene when they're like, are they having sex? Are you doing some like spiritual stuff over each other's bodies? I'm like,
that was strange.
A really deep connection.
Yeah.
What really got me with Delilah's character is like, okay, you recognize that she, like Masha, is kind of playing with fire, playing with these people's lives, trying to like experiment with drug doses. You knew she was about to meet with them, but you go drive to the police. Like, aren't you gonna tell them like, hey, she's drugging you? Like, give a warning. Like, that was a part of the, like, you felt so strongly about it. You didn't even give people a warning. Like, that was weird to me. Yeah. But I love her. She was in Little Fires Everywhere. She played like the younger version of Kerry Washington. She's definitely an actress that I'm going to be looking like, I feel like she's going to be on the come up and she's going to be huge like in the next like year or two. So, and with weight, like huge roles. So I'm excited for it. I loved her character.
Just like a little bit of a sidebar. Apparently she's also in The Shy, which I haven't watched yet, but she's in that series. And one other series that she was in and I really enjoyed her in was called Hunters on Amazon Prime. It's essentially like a group of Nazi hunters that are like hunting Nazis in America. She was fire in that show. So if you want to see more of her, those are 2 places you can go.
Nice. I gotta add that on my watch list.
Yeah.
Okay. And lastly, got my girl Carmel.
Well, and Lars too. We got Lars.
Oh yeah, Lars. I forgot about him.
Oh, I forgot about him. Okay.
Let's do Lars first.
Yeah, do Lars first. Yeah.
Carmel the last.
I
Not
really
much to say on
like
him.
Gibbons. Huh?
I don't know how much. I don't know how much to say on him. He was an
There.
op for real. Yeah, he was just recording stuff, taking notes.
Yeah.
I did like his friendship with Zoe though.
Yeah. And I like this friendship too with Carmel, at least trying to console her. And like he was definitely the type, like the person who was trying to like comfort. He was very defensive, but he was trying to comfort other people majority of the series. So that was cool. And I loved at the end where you kind of like just see him and like his boyfriend / husband, I think, his baby, and then like seeing like he was able to write this amazing story about the whole Tranquillum experience. Like, oh, that was so cool to watch. But yeah, he was a cool character, but like you said, Anne, I feel like there wasn't much to him in terms of like, plot points.
I wasn't really expecting the whole investigative journalist twist, I will say. I don't really know what I was expecting out of his character. 'Cause, you know, at the beginning, he got the text like, "Oh, you're such a narcissist." Like, it was like, okay, clearly angry ex, if anything, that's, you know, the direction I'm going. But I wasn't really expecting the whole investigative journalist thing. I will say, you know, he kind of got his, you know, moment of shine when he, you know, let everybody know what was going on. And it was like, oh, last time someone did this, you know, they died, but the family still went through with it. So it was just kind of like, he wasn't really much of a savior. So it's like, whatever. But
and it was interesting, he decided not to keep recording. He was like, that's none of my business. I'm like, that was kind of cool. Like,
yeah,
you just let them have that moment.
right.
Yeah. So your favorite character, Aunt?
Now we have Carmel.
When did you took that contact out? I was done.
I was weak.
I'm like, why do they keep? Because I'm like, sometimes when they give people like distinct, when they kept going to those flashbacks of Masha getting shot, I'm like, okay, this is going to be somebody significant because they gave him such a distinct feature with that eye, and I never thought like that it was gonna be her. And also like when she was getting threats, I'm like, oh, Carmel, I'm so used to murder mysteries. Carmel was too easy. Like who was giving these death threats and like, and so it was very surprising to find it all be her. And I mean, she did a really good job like acting that part, but I felt like we never saw like a resolution. I feel like everyone had like a moment of clarity. She was crazy up until the point we saw her, and then she's like they do that, like, oh, she's so normal now, like at the end, like, oh, she's like figured out her stuff. Like, I mean, she had that flashback with her daughters that made her happy, but were y'all confused about that too? Like, what was her resolution?
I don't see that she got one.
I think her resolution was beating her up.
No, I don't really think that she got one. At first, I'm not gonna lie, I was just kind of like, why is this girl, like, why do they have her playing someone so weird within this cast? Like, I can't remember what exactly the scene was, but it was when, I think it was Theodore was like singing or dancing or something, and she was just geeked. Like, I was like, why do they have her playing this? But she played it so well. And I think that kind of the background behind, you know, why she acted the way that she acted, and the story about like her husband, and even like the insecurities that came out with, I forgot her name already.
Jessica,
yeah. And how that kind of reflected with her relationships, and you know, how she saw younger women in the lens of her husband and all of that. You're very right. I don't think she got much of a resolution, but I definitely was not expecting that plot twist either, because I was just kind of like, she took that eye out. I was like, what?
And she was like, used to be a good makeup artist too. Like, yeah, nothing you did. Nothing you just add prosthetics to your face.
I was very dumb. I did not expect her to be her. I was like, I thought it was gonna be Lars, to be honest.
I thought so too.
Threats.
Yeah.
And I did that, and I was like, all right, that makes sense. It was,
well, I was like, that scene where she was like, I know why you're here because I had an affair with your husband. I was like, well, you can't see me, but like the fact that she just said that so casually, I was not expecting it. But in hindsight,
oh, she did say that, just like, oh yeah, you know, I did it.
Yeah,
It was
It's
me.
your story. Yeah.
Yeah, crazy. So I'm like, with Masha, did her daughter pass before she got shot? Like, is that why she became career obsessed?
Yes.
I think so.
Or I thought so. Like I thought her daughter passed and then she became career obsessed. Then she got shot, which is how she did Tranquilum.
Gotcha.
I think that's the timeline.
Mm-hmm. So many amazing characters.
Right.
I was gonna say something about that. Oh, how'd you feel when Marsha did, when she did admit it, and she was just kind of like, "Yeah, I just find men that are married, so I just don't have to worry about anything." How did you as women feel about that?
I mean, it makes sense. Like if she has commitment and she doesn't want anyone to find commitment with, so it's like if you're going after married men, they're going to try to be all hush hush, secretive, not make anything permanent. So, I mean, I guess that made sense for her. I mean, obviously it's fucked up, but she was kind of fucked up in the head. So, I mean, I wasn't really expecting much in terms of like morality there.
No, the logic makes sense, but it's also like hella niggas out here who are on the same thing, like that aren't married. So I feel like there's an entire pool of unmarried men that she could have chosen from, but neither here nor there. So
that's why I thought you easily could have found a better solution to your issue.
Right.
So when like she got beat up, I was like, huh?
I know that coming. I was like, yeah, deserved.
That's how I feel about all people that cheat. Like when people come out with stories and they be like, they house got caught on fire or something like that, I'd be like, dang. Then they be like, well, you cheated. I'd be like, well.
Sucks, you know. Do better next time.
Cause and effect.
Which you right, third grade. So, but yeah, damn, not arson though.
Yeah, that was kind of a drastic.
Yeah, you deserved it.
I mean, that's really anything. If you get hit with a bat, if she put you in the hospital, the ER, and say, "Hey, man, cause and effect. You didn't have to cheat."
That's crazy coming from a guy, but
now you're in the ER because of quick little 3 minutes. Was it worth
it? Quick caveat: the show does not recommend arson, violence, or anything of the sort.
Oh, I don't condone it. I don't condone it. However, when it happens, I don't have any sympathy. I'd be like, well, you reap what you sow.
Yeah, it is what it is. That's funny.
All right. So going back to the little topic of psychedelics, y'all kind of touched on it before. Would y'all take a substance to bring someone back from your past? Not from your past, but it can be anybody, really.
I would say, like, I feel like if I had something that was unresolved with someone potentially, like if I haven't healed from it, but it wouldn't be like Masha with her daughter in the car on psychedelics driving a Lamborghini on a cliff. Like that just doesn't make no sense. Like how is she even driving like that? Anyway. Like it maybe if it's just for resolution purposes and it's like a one-time thing, maybe. But I can't, yeah, it would have to be something unresolved. It's like, oh, like if it was someone that I just missed, I felt like that would probably cause me to be more fucked up, you know? So I would just say only if it was someone I had unresolved things with.
Yeah, no, I feel like I feel kind of the same way. Psychedelics, I'm not gonna lie, they don't really feel like my thing in particular, just because I know myself and how I get type of thing. But there's a really thin line between wanting to experience something or someone again and needing to heal from it, and I think that's kind of touching to Maya's point. And it's like, if you have unresolved things and you need to have a conversation like they had in Nine Perfect Strangers to be able to start that healing, then by all means. But if you just need to, if everything is resolved and you have the closure that you need, opening that door again probably isn't something that I would probably want to do, because it would just, restart that process from square one. So
Right.
For me, I also a bunch of tickets, have a concert. We all gonna take these psychedelics and we're gonna bring Michael Jackson back. Go have a good night.
Shut up.
I just watched the Red Table Talk with his daughter. I'm like, what that man last?
Oh, really? I didn't know there was one of those.
Yeah, it's a red couch. It is just with Willow. I'm like, oh God. But it was a good episode though.
That's a fire business idea. Y'all sleep. You know how much people will pay to see Michael Jackson? They already trying to make him not virtual reality.
A hologram?
A hologram, yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
I can do
you can make that work.
Everything.
If you could make it happen, I would pay for it. See? Between me and you.
I'm gonna do meet and greets, and it's gonna be people taking a picture. It's gonna be them by themselves.
Like this one who's carrying like a strong connection. But I would definitely
not you get home and you finally get off the drugs and you look at the picture. It's
like you recorded at the concert, nobody on stage.
The lights, it's the lights off too. You're literally just in the dark.
Oh, that is fried.
Oh my God, that's funny.
All right, so that's we're gonna move on to the next section now. What else is everybody watching?
One more thing.
What you got for us?
I just got a question because we didn't react to it. Jessica and Ben being the leaders of Tranquillum, I feel like I was not expecting that.
Yeah. They could have done something else.
And I remember like Ben saying like, oh, like I miss having a job where I'm meeting new people, and I'm like, okay, so like looking back, like that makes sense. And then Jessica not like wearing makeup or whatever, but they weren't even the strongest characters for them to pass, like carry on that torch. It just didn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Jessica also said she wanted to be a boss, so maybe they'll probably do
my own business
and dive more into that.
Yeah.
Which is why I feel like maybe they didn't give them like a lot of screen time this season, because they'll probably have like most of the screen time next season.
Oh, I didn't even think about a second season. Yeah, that's true.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
You think it'll keep going for real?
I can see it.
Maybe. Yeah, it would have to be just a very different structured show.
Yeah. I agree. Maybe, yeah. I feel like I would enjoy it if Jessica and Ben were the main characters the second time around, because I don't think they got enough justice this season either.
All right, now we're gonna tap into whatever everyone else is watching. I think there's there should be a number one thing that everybody's watching. It's like the hot topic right now.
Oh, Squid Game.
Squid Game.
Oh, I haven't started it yet.
You're literally the first person talking about that. And now I hear it everywhere. My sister binged it. And she said it's like the best show ever. So
my roommate just started watching it. She just started watching it like a couple of hours ago, and she said it's really good, but it's intense.
See, like I have a question for you, Aunt. As someone who has a hard time stomaching Black Mirror, I remember the 3%. I didn't like that show. Like those types of like game, like escape room, those game till you die with like stakes type thing. Like, would you think I would enjoy it? Because honestly, I was really fucked up after Black Mirror. I'm not gonna lie.
I would say no then.
Really?
Yeah, that's not like not such a genre, because it's very good at what it does or what it's for. So
okay. Well, I'm gonna try to
then.
But I'm skeptical.
What part of Black Mirror didn't you like?
I mean, it was a good show. That's the thing I appreciated, because it's like exploring things that feel very real. But like that White Christmas episode, When I
Oh,
say I
that
had bad
one?
dreams for like a month straight.
No, that one actually messed me up because, certain things about tech and future, they don't really bother me, but time and like loops of time and like eternity of time, that really messes with my head. So
Yes.
that one actually really messed with me for a little bit. And the fact that like a second was like 50 years for him was like, okay. I couldn't
I bet
process
you
it.
got fucked up from that San Junipero episode too. Like,
Which one was that?
The one with Gugu and Bathura, like she can decide to be in like this fantasy world for the rest of your life, like the little chip that goes to
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm like, yeah. So that's why I'm hesitant, because I knew everyone's like one of my friends described it as Black Mirror meets Saw type thing. I'm like,
Yeah, what you have us?
I wouldn't describe it. I would not describe it like that. It's just, I would say it's more escape room.
Escape room.
Not Saw. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
It's survival. I wouldn't say Saw. I don't know why you would say that. Hey, Wally.
I heard it gives very much so 3%, if you've ever seen that series.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I just started watching that, and it's a lot closer to that.
Okay.
Also, there's another very similar show called Alice in Borderland on Netflix as well, which is also really good, and that's very similar as well. It's about survival. It's a little bit different because it's not like voluntary. They just kind of get like thrown into it. But that's another like really good series. I'm kind of sick because I think that came out a couple months ago, and now for both I have to wait for season 2. Sick about it. Because that one also is like they get to the end. Damn.
Is this are both of those series in English natively or no?
Let me speak on that. I hate Netflix voiceovers so much.
Oh yeah,
I always sound the same.
Yeah, I always watch in the normal language and then just kind of read the subtitles, which is why it takes a lot out of me to watch stuff that's not in English.
Right, you have to pay attention.
Yeah,
I try to multitask, so I just power through it. But all voiceovers on Netflix sound the same, and I hate it. But who's ever doing those voiceovers is eating for sure. He's getting every single bag.
Getting paid.
So yeah, so if you're interested in Squid Game, if you already watched it, I recommend again Alice in Borderland. There's also Sweet Home, and Extracurricular, which aren't the last two aren't the same. Sweet Home is like zombies. Extracurricular is like just regular people drama. But all other Korean shows on there are fire. They are carrying Netflix right now as far as like consistency of like good shows. They got Netflix on their back.
Oh, nice! I gotta check it out because I love Korean film, so I gotta tap into that. So what I haven't been watching a lot. I've been obviously watching What If week after week. But I watched the Controlling Britney Spears documentary on Hulu. And I'm not gonna lie, the documentary is so sloppily put together. It's nothing like Tiger King, where it's like clear storylines, like diving in. And granted, I feel like between Hulu, Netflix, and like Amazon, everyone is trying to hurry up and put out a documentary before each other. That's why we had 2 Fyre Fest ones, but like people, they just jumped right in. And I think, granted, it was very informative. Like I had no idea that like this was Britney Spears's like life, and just like all the controlling everything she ate, controlling how she could even buy a pair of Skechers at the store. Like it was very like jaw-dropping, and it was great information, but the storytelling was so sporadic because you can tell that they couldn't get a lot of interviews. They were like, kind of reporting on things from like a second hand rather than the source. So that was a little bit frustrating, but I thought it was very informative if people really want to understand like what is conservatorship, like what is Britney Spears' life for the past 5 years look like, 10 years. So I thought it was interesting, but the storytelling was C-.
Is this the one that the New York Times did?
Yes.
Okay, and it's 1 part or 2 parts?
I think it's it's There's like episodes. It's like
because I think I saw one of those parts, like the
oh
very
my
first
god,
one.
I'm realizing okay, so there's different episodes.
Oh.
I had no idea. Oh my god. So there's a whole season of them.
So there's no. So there's season 1, episode 6, and that's Framing Britney Spears. That's the first one that I saw. And then I haven't seen this new one, Controlling Britney Spears.
Oh, okay. So I started on the second one. Yeah, the second.
Okay.
And there's 9 episodes.
Gotcha.
I guess I would just like keep watching through it. I didn't even realize it was.
Yeah, that's weird that they would separate them. But yeah.
Wait, Bria, I'm sorry. We're gonna have to cut. It is not multiple episodes. It's a series that they're doing, and it was 1 episode. I'm sorry. Like I was confused because I'm like, wait, is there multiple episodes? And I see it says like episode 9, Controlling Britney Spears, but it's a part of they have different topics each episode. So I'm thinking like, oh fuck, is this a season? I didn't realize it, but no, it was just 1 episode. So I guess it's not. It's like a episode of a docu-series.
Gotcha. Okay.
I don't know.
I mean, if you want to re-record, you can. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I will, and I'll just keep it brief.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so something I'm watching now, I just finished the New York Times. They had an episode for it's called Controlling Britney Spears. And it was really informative. I felt like the storytelling was all over the place, especially given it was New York Times. But you could tell they kind of had limited information to go off of, but it was very informative. If people are like Britney Spears fans and they want to understand like what conservatorship is, I felt like it was very shocking and understand like this is this woman's life and how she's controlled by her father, her finances, the food she ate, no privacy. But I still felt like it was very all over the place. But overall, I enjoyed it, and I would recommend it if people want to learn more about Britney Spears, I guess.
Yeah, I saw that one that Hulu put out too. It was definitely very informative. I didn't even know what the conservatorship was until I watched that, and I definitely didn't know that Britney Spears was under one. So it's extremely crazy, how the break that she had happened so long ago, and ever since then she's just been under so much control. But I mean, I've been seeing a lot of stuff in the news, and it seems as though she's making steps in the right direction to be free from all of that. And then I think Netflix, I got a notification today that their documentary actually just hit Netflix. So I might, so there's gonna be another one.
Like always try to be out before the other one.
Right, who can go first? So I'll probably watch theirs so I can, kind of compare. I'm not gonna lie, Netflix does a really good job on documentaries. They're usually very good at it. So definitely want to watch theirs and see if storytelling's a little bit better and stuff like that. And if they were able to get some exclusives or anything like that.
Right. And it was like, I'm just so embarrassed by this, but I remember everyone like, because I try to follow the story but I remember everyone's like, fuck Jamie Spears. But I'm thinking like Jamie Lynn Spears, her sister. So I'm thinking her sister's the one who's like been fucking her over. And I knew her dad was involved too, but no, her dad is named Jamie Spears. So it's not Jamie Spears.
Yeah.
I think there was about that.
I think there was a period in time where Brittany had like tweeted something about Jamie Lynn too, and so everyone kind of turned on her. Something about like she never stuck up for Brittany or like helped her or anything like that. So it was like this big Twitter battle or something like that. It was interesting, but
yeah.
Well,
I guess fuck both Jamies then.
Yes, because you got Zoe 101 canceled.
Man.
Oh yeah, because she oh my gosh.
I wanted one of those mopeds so bad. I wanted to go to boarding school. So bad. I wanted a moped.
It was on Pepperdine's campus. I'm like, oh my God, it's gorgeous. Malibu, so nice.
Right?
Literally like.
Little did I know boarding school probably don't look like that.
All right.
So, I don't get to go. Not this week.
Wait.
So what I've been watching, I haven't been watching a ton. But a couple of things that have been on my radar: Only Murders in the Building, that's also on Hulu. I'm only about 3 episodes into that series, but it is so good. Just a little bit of the premise. It's about 3 people who are living in a New York apartment, and they're all obsessed with this murder podcast. And they somehow get, united after a murder happens in their building, and they kind of take it upon themselves to solve it and start a podcast of their own that really details all the different clues that they can figure out who is the murderer in the building. So it's done really well, in my opinion. I definitely would be one of those people who's like listening to the murder podcast. So I was like, oh, I can relate. But I really like the series so far. I haven't seen Selena Gomez act in a long time. And I feel like, they kind of have her as like the edgy, mysterious character. So I'm interested to kind of see a little bit more how that develops too, and see, what she's hiding. But we'll get there. And then the only other thing, I haven't gotten around to watching it because I have it's not a bad or a good habit, but I have a habit of saving all of these episodes so I can sit down and binge it all at once. But Law and Order SVU came back on Thursday. So that came back. I'm really excited for this new season. A lot of people are like, Law and Order is the same thing over and over again. And I don't care, I don't care. It's a really good series. I have seen pretty much all the episodes at least twice, and they will have a forever fan in me. So definitely glad that series is back, and I'm probably gonna wait like a month or so that I can sit down one weekend and watch like 5 episodes in a row and have a great Saturday. So I'm excited for that.
That's oh my gosh, I forgot that there's a new season, because I followed the Twitter account and I'm like, oh, some of these teasers. I'm like, yeah, I gotta catch up.
Right. They have like a spinoff now for what's the one? Yeah.
Yeah, like organized crime.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I was excited about that, last season. Like hearing that, oh, he's coming back and all. But, I haven't seen Organized Crime, but he also is a questionable cop. So we'll see. We'll see if he's grown any or, takes any heed to all of these, Black Lives Matter, racial justice conversations that are happening. But we'll see how that goes.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's all I've been watching.
Have you been watching I think it just ended actually. We got watching the last season of the Power series, Kanan.
Yes.
Well, Bria, I know you've been trying to.
I have not watched the finale. I have not watched the finale. And for everyone who's listening and wants to know why I have not watched the finale, it's because out of the kindness of my heart, I gave Anthony and 2 of my other friends, Demario and Keon, my Stars password. And one of them or their girlfriend or whatever girls that they be talking to are on my account, and they continuously watch the new episodes under my profile instead of the guest profile. Oh, God. And Stars does not have like a start over button or anything like that. So I have to sit there and rewind it with my eyes closed. It's just a whole chore, and I don't like doing it. So I haven't seen the finale yet. No, I haven't. But carry on.
See, so in my defense, I watched like literally 5 minutes of the first episode, and that was it. I was like, I don't care about this. I haven't checked for it since. So it's not me. I also double checked my profiles on my phone, my iPad, and my TV. All are on the guest. Immediately opens to the guest thing. I only watch movies on Stars, so it's not me. I also don't have a girlfriend. So if anybody's interested, DM me.
I do some investigative research.
Right. I don't watch any of the Power series at all, but I saw
wow.
at all?
No, hold on, time out.
Yeah, wait, we need to go back to that. Nothing?
Not just gonna skip over
first, that. Like my ex would watch him. Like I watched one season, I think it was the 5th season or something like that. So I watched a few episodes, but I don't know. I'm like, I'm sick of seeing black men as a drug dealer. I'm like, I just don't have to, but I heard the drama's really good. I just feel like I'm so far behind to like start that. I'm like, I'm just not going to commit to it. But I saw this tweet that was so funny. They said 50 Cent is creating a Marvel universe for drug dealers.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
I about lost it because I had no idea that they had like this other, like all these spin-off series. Like, what the heck?
And they just dropped BMF. I'm not gonna watch that either.
Really?
Is that related to Power?
What's BMF?
Oh, okay.
I think that's by 50 Cent.
Yeah, it is. He just had a whole launch party in Atlanta. It's this series. I don't really know much about it, so I'm not going to speak much on it. But I think it's like a crime family.
Black mafia family.
Yeah, it's like I was going to say mafia, but I didn't want to just throw that word around. If I didn't know.
Dude from All American is in it. It's on Hulu?
I don't watch All American. What's his name?
If I'm
there was Eminem in it.
Yeah, Da Vinci, he's in it.
Okay, so that's what I'm thinking of. Okay, that's funny. I just sometimes it's like those drama series where it's like never ending. I don't know. I may give it a try, but I feel like I'm too far behind now to try to catch up. I'm good with like these little one seasoners, like 9 Perfect Strangers. Like I can catch up with that, but I'm already starting Desperate Housewives, and I feel like there's so many episodes I have to go. So we'll see. Maybe it'll change though.
Yeah, it says BMF is a series about the Black Mafia family, which is a drug trafficking and money laundering organization in the United States. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But he just had a whole launch party in Atlanta. It was like a launch party / concert / screening type of thing. I had a friend who was there, so she said it was fun, but we'll see. I'll probably watch an episode or two, see if it's worth getting into.
Yeah.
I heard Cash Doll's in it, so
Cash Doll.
I'm not gonna see.
You tapped in because of that, Aunt.
Yes.
It's cool. They have Lala in this one too. I didn't know they were.
Okay, I don't want to tap it anymore. I don't like her.
What did Lala do to you? Yeah.
Not act well.
Are you sure Cash Doll's in this? I don't see her.
I see people tweeting about it.
Oh.
She might be like one episode. She might not be listed like on like the main cast list.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense.
All right. So, do y'all have a favorite streaming service of the month? Out of everything you watched,
I'd have to go with Hulu, and that's just because a lot of the stuff that I've been watching has been Hulu originals, like obviously 9 Perfect Strangers and Rivers in the Building. But I feel like since I've been doing a lot of homework, I've been using TV shows and movies as background noise, and so there's like so many shows on there and cartoons and things that I keep up with, like Bob's Burgers and Family Guy, and Rick and Morty is still on there. Modern Family is on there. I use that for background noise all the time. So I'll probably just go with Hulu just because they have had some really good originals this month, but also I've been able to watch things that I can just kind of play in the background and get some laughs and stuff from all of that too.
Mm-hmm. Nice. I definitely feel like Hulu has been a challenger. I typically don't watch Hulu, but obviously 9 Perfect Strangers and like just catching up on some shows that I know I'm not going to find anywhere else. But I think my number one's still going to be Disney Plus because I've been really enjoying the What If series. Like every week, I may stay up till 3 a.m. to catch the newest episode tonight, but I'm so obsessed. And like when they drop the assembled, like I think next month they're going to be dropping the Black Widow assembled, like the behind the scenes of the movies.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
And then randomly I start catching up on Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. Like I'm almost done watching everything they have on Disney Plus. So I'm saying like like the things like background. I've been doing a lot of like work without like meetings and stuff. So just having it on the background, like that nostalgia I've been tapping into, but more on like the Disney side. So it's been serving me pretty well.
I'm looking forward to tonight's What If.
Yeah, me too.
That cliffhanger last week, I was like, whoa, I didn't think they were going to continue it because they didn't continue the other two.
Yeah, they usually don't. So
yeah, I was going to say, I didn't think they were connected.
Yeah, none of them are. So but maybe it's, I guess Ultron Vision combined. I don't know. We'll see.
I'm ready for it. I'll be up at 3 a.m. watching it. Press and play right at 3 o'clock.
Must be nice. I gotta be. I have 8:30 a.m. classes every day of the week. Isn't that crazy?
That sucks. Oh my gosh. Is it virtual or you actually have to go on campus?
No, I gotta be on campus. 8:30 sharp. So.
Wow, yeah, you gotta get your sleep.
I know, it's only this semester though, and then I get to choose my own classes. So
I loved morning classes. I was like 8 a.m. book me every time. 8 a.m. I'm in there.
You're psycho.
That's interesting.
I like being done by like noon.
Yeah, that is the one good part. But I also am not done by noon. I have these awkward gaps in my day. So I have like 8:30 to noon and then like 4 to 5:30. So it's just kind of like, what do I do with these 4 hours? Yeah, it's awful.
So. The worst thing I had was a 6:30 a.m. lab.
Oof. That sounds gross.
It was in the winter
classes
too.
That early at IU.
It was in the winter too.
Yeah, I didn't even know classes started at 6:30. That's wild.
Yeah.
And you chose it on purpose?
It was the only option.
Oh. Wow.
So I had to take it. And it was literally it was spring semester, so it was cold as hell every morning.
Yeah. That sounds
walking
gross.
in snow, going to class. Yeah. No sun. No feeling in my feet.
Did you live on off campus at that time?
No, actually it was worse because I won't say worse. Well, okay, but I lived far on off campus. I was on fast forward. But I was that was my second year and I was in Jones Tower. So it was going from Jones Tower all the way south over on Neal. It was over there where that pizza place is, Adriatico's.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I'm just like, man. And then like the buses aren't running that frequently at that time. So
you miss it, it's over for you.
Yeah.
But all right, we'll reel it back in.
For me, I watched a lot of Hulu. My favorite thing off there was Not Perfect Strangers. I watched a lot of anime on there. Which has been turned bored, so I got to binge watch that. Because I don't know, they just stopped telling me on like the homepage that there was new episodes. You know how it has like the white box is new. It just wasn't telling me that. So I see somebody tweeting about it, and I'm like, hold on, like, what so I go on there. I missed literally like 7 episodes. So I'm like, what the hell? But I'm like, all right, cool, I can binge watch this. So that was turned because they on there fighting for their life every episode. I'm like, Jesus. Ain't gonna take a lunch break, nothing. Straight to the next fight.
That's anime for you.
But I'm going to give it to Netflix for my middle month. I like 3% right now. I'm really enjoying that. I just finished season 1 last night. Squid Game, it was fire. They stole it at the death. It was, and then I'm finna watch Midnight Mass. Probably tomorrow.
Were you a big clickbait fan? Or wait, you said it was mid, right?
Yes.
Remember? Okay. My parents love that series.
I did not see what people saw in that series. I did not see what people saw in that series at all. So yeah.
Cool. Well, that wraps up this episode of the Benchverse. Next week, or actually I'll cut that out. For our next episode, we are going to be watching Venom. Actually, let me back up. Is that still right?
Oh yeah, it comes out this weekend. Like I was supposed to see it Thursday, but I think I'm gonna go see it Sunday night now.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to.
I think I'm gonna go see it Saturday.
Okay. So it comes out. Okay. All right. Well, that not until the 14th, whatever that Tuesday is. Like literally 2 weeks from now.
Okay. It's spooky season. You know the vibes.
Okay. All right. Let me do the close. Let me do the closing real quick so I can clip this in here. All right. Well, that wraps up this episode of the Bingeverse. On our next episode in 2 weeks, we will be reviewing Venom. Venom is hitting theaters this Thursday, which is going to be September 30th. So hit up your local theaters so that you can be ready to watch this or listen to the next episode with us. It is October, so we do have some really cool content planned for you all surrounding Halloween. Aunt's favorite season.
Spooky season, scary movie season.
So we're excited to dive into that with you all, and we will see you next episode.
I hope we can talk about 007 too, because that comes out next week.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
But make sure y'all, share it with your friends, like, comment, subscribe, turn post notifications on, comment again when you're done with all that.
Yes, and hit the link in our bio if you have any comments, any suggestions, anything that you want us to watch, or if you have a completely different opinion on 9 Perfect Strangers or anything that we talked about that you want to share. Make sure that you share it in our link in the bio, and maybe we'll read them out on our next episode too. Cut. Okay. Cool. Well, I guess we can all say bye. See you next time.
Bye.
All right. Cool. We got another episode in the books. Let me stop recording this so that it can start processing and I can start editing.